Merry Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas Eve. I got a couple of things I want to try to get out of the way here while I'm thinking about them. There was a home invasion at the home of the mother of Takashi 69. Let's get into it.
What's up, boys? So, you guys know I got sentenced to 3 months in prison. I don't have to turn myself in to January 6th.
Rapper Tekashi 69's holiday just got a little better. Not only did he get to walk into the Jake Paul fight over the weekend,
6ix9ine, I'll flop ya!
The Palm Beach sheriff says he caught one of the men responsible for a home invasion at 69's home. Pedro Rodriguez is in jail for Christmas, while others are still on the loose. I look at the new video from the break-in and what we know about the investigation. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. You know, there is a reason that Morgan & Morgan is America's largest personal injury law firm, and it's because the firm wins a lot. It has more than 1,000 lawyers who've recovered $25 billion from more than 500,000 clients. In the last few months alone, a client in Florida received $12 million when the insurance company offered only $350,000. In Pennsylvania, another client was awarded $26 million. That was 40 times the insurer's offer. Morgan & Morgan makes it really easy to fight for what you deserve. You can even start a claim from your phone. So if you are ever injured, you can start a claim at forthepeople.com/crimefix. Click the link below or scan that QR code that you see right there on your screen.
You ever wonder what the difference is in a frame that looks like this with clear glue and a frame that looks like this with red glue really is? We'll show you those differences and why.
It's no secret that rapper Tekashi 69 has had his share of legal problems. He's been to court and he's been to jail, but recently, Tekashi and members of his family, particularly his mom, became crime victims. It started on a Sunday night, back on November 16th to be exact. Tekashi was hanging out with YouTuber Jack Doherty on a live stream. This was after Doherty's release from jail in Miami, after he was booked on charges of resisting arrest and misdemeanor and felony drug possession.
Know the vibes. We outside. Here with my boy Jack.
Yes, sir.
Fresh home.
Yeah, straight out of jail, baby.
Straight out of jail. Oh, that's your mugshot?
Yeah. They were live on Party.
Doherty and 69, they were having a lot of fun, but at the same time, 3 men were breaking into Tekashi's home in Palm Beach County, and his mother was actually held at gunpoint. Home security videos that are now evidence in the case and that were first shared with TMZ showed people dressed in all black inside the home. It's pretty scary stuff. 3 masked people holding your mom at gunpoint and walking through your house? That's nuts. And there was some chatter online that maybe Tekashi set this up to distract from his own legal problems, but he made it clear he wasn't playing.
What's up? So I want to make this video to clear up all the fake news and rumors. So the world knows this. It's a fact. I'm on house arrest. I've been on house arrest. I think everyone in America and everyone across the world knows that I'm on house arrest. Yesterday, they allowed me to leave for work. People, I guess, saw that I was on live stream with Jack Doherty. They took that opportunity to do some. Like I said, it's me, so I get it. The rules are different for me. But if it was your favorite artist, your favorite actor, and that was done, they don't get no cool points for that. My mom is 60 years old. Y'all know I'm supposed to come home. Y'all know I'm home all the time. I'm on house arrest. So y'all take the opportunity that I'm not home. Y'all see me on live stream with Jack Doherty in Miami, and y'all do that. That's whack. Get no cool points. I don't think nobody respects that.
So that's what 69 said about the home invasion after it happened, and the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office began investigating immediately. Earlier this month, 69 went to New York to face the music and a federal judge. After violating his probation, 69 pleaded guilty in a racketeering case and testified against members of the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods several years ago. He's been on supervised release, and federal prosecutors say he's repeatedly violated the terms of his release. Last February, he was caught with cocaine and MDMA. In August, 69, whose legal name is Daniel Hernandez, admitted to punching a man who called him out for testifying against his own gang, basically calling him a snitch. That happened at a mall in Florida. Earlier this month, Judge Paul Engelmeyer sentenced 6ix9ine to 3 months in federal prison because he just can't seem to stay out of trouble while he's on probation. The judge, who's given him chance after chance after chance, was not happy. But 6ix9ine doesn't seem to be letting that news cramp his style.
What's up, boys? So, you guys know I got sentenced to 3 months in prison. I don't have to turn myself in to January 6th. So, I told my team that I want to give my fans a project before I go in. So, you guys are going to have new music coming soon. But till January 6th, I'm free and I'm going to be here with you guys. So, this is the bet I got. Today, I'm going to bet a $30,000 hand on Rain Bet. But this is the thing. If I win this hand, look, I'm facing a 5. If I win this hand, that means I'm going to have a good prison sentence. But if I lose this hand, I feel like this is the time I'm going to get beat up. I don't know why. And let's just see what's going to happen.
So that was Tekashi promising his fans some fun and music before he reports to prison in January. Then this past weekend, the sheriff announced that he'd made an arrest. 19-year-old Pedro Rodriguez faces a number of charges, including kidnapping, false imprisonment, robbery or home invasion with a firearm or a deadly weapon, grand theft between $20,000 and $100,000, and a drug charge. The arrest report reveals how detectives said the home invasion unfolded, recounting what 6ix9ine's mother, Natividad Perez, and other witnesses told them. The affidavit states Perez advised that she arrived home around 21:30 hours and was in the kitchen area. She opened the door to the laundry room, which leads to the garage that had an open garage door, and was met by 3 masked suspects with firearms. The suspects pointed their firearms at Perez, forced her inside her home, and demanded money and the keys to the cars. Perez did not have access to the vehicle, keys, or money. Therefore, 2 of the suspects started rummaging through the house for items, while the 3rd suspect kept Perez in the kitchen. After failing to find anything, the suspects went outside with Perez, and one of them entered a black 2024 Mercedes Sprinter van through an unlocked passenger door, rummaging through it. Now, the report said that Sprinter van was actually in the driveway, not in the garage. The report continues. The 2 other suspects went into the garage and appeared to take small bags, possibly purses. Since all 3 suspects were distracted, Perez went to the mother-in-law's suite, where other family members were in.
Bro, y'all gonna sit there and terrorize a 60-year-old woman for purses?
Side. She banged on the door for help and was greeted by her son, Oscar Hernandez, and friend, Anthony Espinal. Upon Hernandez opening the door, they noticed Perez there, who appeared to be scared and was saying she was being robbed. Perez went inside the suite while Espinal went outside and observed 3 armed suspects, all wearing masks. One of the males told Espinal to come over to them. However, he went inside. Hernandez let Perez inside his home and called 911. The suspects then ran away from the residence. Detectives collected surveillance video from Hernandez's house, and it showed the burglars in the home with his mom, and in the area outside, a neighbor found a medical card that actually belonged to 6ix9ine's girlfriend at a neighbor's home. And she told detectives that card was in one of her purses that had been stolen.
I keep hearing that AI is only for big law, but that simply is not true. AI isn't about the size of the team. It's about the approach.
Magnus Pro was a game changer. It made all of your cables disappear with the world's first integrated power supply column, a cable management tray that spans
one of her purses that had been stolen. The report says the items stolen from Hernandez's girlfriend included gold and black Van Cleef earrings valued at $2,600, a diamond necklace and nameplate marked Alade worth $25,000, a black Balenciaga purse worth $2,000, a pink Chanel purse worth $5,000 containing 2 insurance cards, $400 in U.S. currency, her Florida driver's license, an American Express credit card, a PNC credit card, and a Regions Bank card. Detectives said they looked at cell phones that were in the area that night, and they found one that belonged to 19-year-old Pedro Rodriguez, who fit the description of one of the burglars. Detectives said when they executed a search warrant at the apartment, where Rodriguez lived with his mom, he was wearing a black Nike jacket with an air vent on the back that was similar to one worn by a suspect in the surveillance video from the burglary at 69's house. The detective said he interviewed Pedro Rodriguez, and he claimed he'd never been to the neighborhood where Tekashi 69 lived. The report states he further advised that he has never been in the Homeland community and claimed on November 16, 2025, he stayed at his girlfriend's house and then came home afterwards. I asked if he had ever met Daniel Hernandez, and he advised that he had met him in traffic on Southern Boulevard. He claimed to get a photograph with him on the side of the road. I asked if he had heard about anything recently happening to Hernandez, and he advised no. I advised him that I located evidence in his room, at which time he advised that he wished to remain silent. The detective said they found a black and yellow tub in Rodriguez's room in his mom's apartment, and they found a lot of plastic baggies, marijuana products, black clothes, and some designer purses. The marijuana products included THC disposable vapes, several hundred grams of marijuana, a pink Chanel purse, a black Dolce & Gabbana purse, and a Louis Vuitton purse. There was a lot of black athletic clothing, too. Also found in a children's bedroom, a stolen Glock 19 firearm with blue markings, an orange dot front sight, and a black extended magazine that was consistent with the firearm used in the home invasion. Tekashi 69's girlfriend told police those purses belonged to her, and she didn't realize that 2 of them had been stolen. So to discuss this arrest, I want to bring in somebody who knows a lot about Palm Beach County. He is Dave Ehrenberg. He used to be the state's attorney for Palm Beach County. So Dave, we have one suspect in custody for this home invasion at Tekashi 69's house, two others on the loose. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it's not going to take them that long to track down these other 2 suspects. What are you thinking?
Totally agree. The guy they have is a 19-year-old. Generally, a 19-year-old is not going to do these things by himself, and when he does it with his boys, it's usually just a matter of time when the accomplices get caught, especially because it looks like Mr. Rodriguez was very sloppy with videos, and he had his cell phone, which helped track him, and there's plenty of evidence apparently. Now, just because it took them a while to catch them doesn't mean that they don't have a lot of goods against them, and apparently they've got it. Just there were so many different suspects here. You know, people were wondering if it was staged, if
right.
this group, if there was this group that called the Island Boys that were behind it, but it looks like this was just a crime, a legitimate crime of someone who was targeting someone they knew would have money, and for at least a little while was getting away with it.
I want to talk a little bit about the allegation or the suspicion early on. You know, and Tekashi 69, he took to social media to say that I didn't stage this. You know, he was on the streamers and stuff like that saying I didn't stage this because I was facing a federal parole violation or whatever. You know, I wouldn't do that. I mean, his mom had the wits scared out of her. I mean, she opens the door and sees 3 guys in all black, hoods on, the whole 9 yards, guns. I mean, he was mad, and he obviously was very angry that people thought he might set this up to, garner some sympathy since he was looking at his own court date.
Yeah, that's right. But yet, I mean, to abduct your mom or they hold your mom hostage for at least a little bit, and it's not a thing that most people would do, even to try to get sympathy. And then they found an ID card that belonged to Tekashi's girlfriend. They have the photos. Like I said, how sloppy these folks were. There are images of 3 suspects captured on a neighboring homeowner's security camera. Yeah, you just have to assume. I mean, this is not the 1970s anymore. There are these Ring camera doorbells on many houses, and cell phones are trackers, and it's not just about fingerprints anymore. There's a lot of new technologies that'll catch you.
I want to talk about the technologies that appear to have caught this guy. It took some time for them to piece this together. They always have to get the search warrants. They've got to interview everybody. They've got to do all of these things. There was a trail of breadcrumbs, both digital and just kind of regular evidence wise. The first thing was they were able to, according to the affidavit, identify this guy through cell phone records. You know, they looked at the cell phones that were active in the area. They find one registered to this guy, and they start their legwork from there. That leads them to execute this search warrant at his house. And according to what they're saying, you know, they pull him out of the house, his mom, somebody else that lives there, and he's like, yeah, I've never been over to that neighborhood. No, I've never been there, even though they know they've got the cell phone evidence that indicates he was there. And then they go looking through the house, and according to what they find Tekashi's girlfriend's purses there. Plus, he's still wearing a jacket that they say he was wearing the night of the break-in. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No, I mean, yeah. You're wearing the same clothes. Note to self, when you commit a crime, maybe you don't want to keep wearing the same clothes that you may be identified with. I mean, generally you burn the clothes, you try to change your appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was a high-profile crime, and the sheriff's office
he was young and
already a
stupid.
sophisticated law enforcement agency, and they were focused on this, and they used Rodriguez's phone records, messages, call logs to now look at these other co-conspirators, and I think that just a matter of time until they get it. These folks were apparently corresponding with each other and pretty free about messaging each other, and it's just amazing that these stupid criminals, alleged criminals, are just unaware that technology is different today than it was back when Billy the Kid was committing crimes.
Hello and welcome to Beyond Resilience, a new series of conversations exploring what is next for cultivating enterprise success and adaptability.
What's really unfortunate to me, thank goodness nobody was hurt. The whole thing is unfortunate. I'm glad, his mother is probably still traumatized from this. His brother was there at the house. Other people who live in the house were there. People could have been hurt. Thank goodness they were not hurt. But it's sad to me because this is a rapper, Tekashi 69. He's got the cameras all over the place. He didn't have security per se. Obviously, he didn't have, people around the house stationed there to keep his place safe. But what's really unfortunate is that when this happened, he was on a live stream with that Jack Doherty. And for all we know, these guys see that Tekashi is not home. You can't even go on a live stream with your friend without somebody maybe potentially seeing that and taking advantage of it and saying, let's go over to the house and see what we can get. I mean, that's pretty frightening.
Yeah, this is the time we're in, though, when people broadcast all these things about themselves. There's very little privacy left. So, you're taught, don't advertise that you're away from your home. And yet you're on the live stream and you obviously show a bit of your money, that your possessions, you talk about it, you have these individuals who are probably just hanging around. These are 19, 20-year-olds who are hanging around and probably not doing much with their lives and looking to do a heist. They're probably bored, also looking for some extra cash, and that's what they do. And they're just not the smartest folks in the world, and so they end up doing incriminating things like showing their face on surveillance video, use cell phones to communicate, to be tracked by authorities, and here we are. And then they're found, at least the main guy is found wearing the same jacket that he was wearing when he allegedly committed this crime. Like I said, just a matter of time when the others are caught as well.
Yeah, it seems like it will be just a matter of time. Do you think, people thought maybe they would get caught a little more quickly? Is this pretty quick, though, as far as you can tell, in your experience in handling investigations such as these?
It's about the right amount of time. I think they were caught just recently, and I think the crime occurred in November, correct? So, that's pretty good. But remember, these aren't the smartest criminals in the world. And so even though it's high profile, you think, well, it wasn't solved for 6 weeks, it must be some sophisticated criminal. No, police are there to make sure they have the goods, because if you arrest someone too early, the speedy trial clock will start. And that puts prosecutors at a disadvantage because the defense lawyer can come in and say, okay, I want to go to trial ASAP, and now the prosecutors are scrambling. So you want to make sure you have the goods. First of all, you need at least probable cause to make an arrest. And second, you want to make sure, at least for prosecutors' sake, there's even more than that, where you can prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt. Because if you start charging first and asking questions later, you can lose the whole case. That's why police are very careful to make sure they've got enough evidence beyond just probable cause to make the arrest.
No doubt. You don't want to mess it up, especially if it is high profile. I think Palm Beach, I've not been to Palm Beach. Unfortunately, I should come down there and visit you. But it sounds like a beautiful place, and it always sounds kind of ritzy to me. But this kind of stuff, I guess, can happen anywhere. You have to take precautions. So is this like a home invasion in Palm Beach County? Is that pretty unusual?
Well, it's a safe county, but the entire county is not Palm Beach. Palm Beach is the island. It's the swanky island where Mar-a-Lago is, and very wealthy. The county is huge. The county is the 5th largest county land-wise east of the Mississippi. And you have 1.4 million people living there. So there are parts where there are areas where they're higher in crime than others. Now, where Tekashi lived, and I don't know exactly where he lives, but he, if it's a nice home, he probably lives in a nice area where there's not a lot of crime, but he's someone who's high profile, who probably talks about how much he owns, how much where he lives in general, and so people can find out. And here are these teenagers, 19, probably 20-year-old folks who have nothing better to do than to watch these live streams of him talking like Jack Doherty, who's another one, another controversial figure on the internet. And what are you doing? I mean, should you be working? Should you be like doing something better than that? Nope. And that's the type of person who would have a predisposition to go do something as brazen as this.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, we will keep an eye on it and see where it goes. And Tekashi, he has to report to prison in January, so he's got his own stuff to worry about. So he'll be spending some time in the pokey, thinking about what he's done. So we'll see how this all unfolds. Dave Ehrenberg, thank you so much.
Thank you, Antoinette.
So Pedro Rodriguez, he remains in the Palm Beach County Jail for Christmas. He will be there until his court date in January. Those 2 other suspects, if anybody has any information about them, they should call the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. That's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Antoinette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.
Good night and Merry Christmas.